What's up, Mavericks? All right, imagine this. It's 7 p.m. and a potential customer needs someone to start a job first thing tomorrow. They call your business, but nobody answers. So they leave a voicemail, wait 10 seconds, and then call your competitor who picks up on the second ring and books the job. By the time you check your messages the next morning, it's already over. Now, that's not a worst case scenario. For a lot of small businesses, that's just what happens after hours, on weekends, during lunch, or any time the phones go unattended. And the solution isn't always just hire someone. Sometimes the budget isn't there. Sometimes there isn't even a job to post. You just need someone to pick up the phone. That's where Nextiva's AI Receptionist XBert comes in. Today I'm testing XBert to see if it actually can fill that gap for you. I'm putting it through 3 real scenarios: after hours call handling, live FAQs, and booking an appointment. And I'm not just checking whether it picks up. I want to see if it can handle real questions, hold an actual conversation, and complete tasks without a human stepping in. So let's see if it actually holds up. First, let's get the quick version out of the way. Here's what XBert actually is. XBert is an AI receptionist built by Nextiva, a business communications and customer experience management company that's been around for close to 20 years. XBert handles the frontline communication work that either falls through the cracks or takes way more time than it should. The thing that separates it from your standard automated phone system is that XBert isn't a phone tree or chatbot. Callers aren't pressing 1 for sales and 2 for support and then sitting on hold. It holds real conversations across phone calls, text messages, and web chat simultaneously 24 hours a day. It can answer questions specific to your business, route callers to the right person, capture lead information, and book appointments, and it all happens without a human stepping in unless the situation actually calls for it. The concept is simple, but if you're losing business to missed calls, this can be a real game changer. Now, before we test out XBert, here's what to expect in terms of features. XBert handles voice, SMS, and web chat from one system. It answers calls automatically, responds naturally to inbound texts, and embeds directly on your website. XBert supports unlimited simultaneous calls, so there are no busy signals and no hold queues. It runs 24/7, so nights, weekends, and even holidays are all covered. When a caller needs a real person, it can transfer them based on the customizable routing rules that work best for your business. Conversation quality is where a lot of AI programs fall short, but XBert is built to handle natural back and forth dialogue, even when there are interruptions, follow-up questions, or someone going off script. The name, title, gender, and tone of voice are all configurable, so you can make it feel like it actually belongs to your business rather than some generic chatbot. Even with all of these features, getting set up is faster than you'd expect. XBert can use your existing website or Google Maps listing as a starting point. Then you can build out your FAQ library with the questions your team actually fields every day. Add your services, pricing details, or menu items to give customers a more complete experience. It even integrates with Google Calendar for real-time appointment scheduling. After each interaction, XBert can send the business owner a full email summary of what was discussed, so you always know what's going on. Now, we're just about to test out the system, but before we do, let's talk about who XBert's for. XBert is built for businesses that have more inbound calls than they can reliably answer. These are businesses where the owner is also the person picking up, the team is out in the field and can't stop to answer every ring, or where after hours calls just go to voicemail and stay there until morning. XBert works for home services like plumbing, HVAC, landscaping, and cleaning. It's also ideal for healthcare and wellness settings like dental offices, chiropractic clinics, med spas, and fitness studios. Real estate and property management, restaurants and catering, and professional services like law, accounting, and consulting can also benefit from XBert. Now, XBert isn't built for every business. If you already have a fully staffed front desk with no coverage gaps, you likely won't need it. And if your incoming calls require immediate human judgment with no room for routing or screening, XBert probably isn't the right fit. But for the businesses it is built for, the value is hard to argue with, so let's see it in action. All right, so I'm starting with the scenario that's probably the biggest pain point for small businesses, the after hours call. You already know the drill. It's after business hours, a potential customer calls with an urgent question and nobody's available. In the real world, that call goes to voicemail, the caller moves on, and the lead is gone. Now, what I want to see is how XBert actually handles an after hours call. We're going to see if it just picks up or if it sounds like it belongs to a real business and does something useful with the conversation. So let's check it out.
Hey, I'm Kevin, the AI assistant at Smile and Shine Dental. How can I help you today?
Hi, Kevin. What are your business hours and your business location?
We are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and our address is 2260 Cabot Boulevard West, Suite 100, Langhorne, Pennsylvania 19047 US. Would you like me to send that information to you?
No, that's okay. Can you tell me what services you offer though?
We offer comprehensive care including dental implants, orthodontics, sedation dentistry, TMJ and sleep apnea treatments, crowns, root canals, veneers, pediatric dentistry, and teeth whitening. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's it.
Shall I end the conversation, then?
Yes, please.
Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So there it is, some really basic questions answered after hours. The call was answered almost immediately, and there was no lag between my question and the answer. And although I know it was AI, the conversation was very natural and flowed well. Missed after hours calls are one of the most common and expensive problems small businesses deal with. The call disappears, the lead goes cold, and you may never know what the missed call cost you. A caller who gets an immediate, helpful response is going to follow through at a much higher rate than one who gets voicemail and has to decide whether to leave a message or just try someone else. XBert takes that decision off the table entirely. Nights, weekends, holidays, it's all covered. Now, before we move on, I just want to give a quick shout out to Nextiva for sponsoring this video. We appreciate it and thank you. So let's move on to the second test. This one is about something that takes up a lot more staff time than most business owners track. The same questions answered over and over. Every business has a list of things people always ask before they decide to book. What does it cost? What's included? How does it work? Are you available on Saturdays? Those questions aren't complicated, but answering them still pulls someone away from something else every single time. Here, I want to see how XBert handles a caller who has a few questions, not just one, and wants a real back and forth before they commit to anything.
Hi, I'm Lawrence, the AI assistant at Tough Core Fitness. What can I do for you?
Yeah, hi. Can you tell me about your hours, location, and services that you offer?
We are open 24 hours a day on weekdays and from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. Our main location is at 123 Main Street in Scottsdale, Arizona. We offer a variety of classes such as Pilates, spinning, TRX, cardio, dance, and CrossFit, along with amenities like a sauna, steam bath, and juice bar. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, how much are your CrossFit classes and what's the payment type? Is it membership or is it a one-time fee?
CrossFit classes are $20 per class. You can pay per class, or we have various membership options available. Are you interested in learning more about our memberships?
Not right now, but I just wanted to get pricing.
I understand. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Nope, that's it.
Shall I end the conversation now?
Yes, please.
Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Okay, so you can see how this time I layered a bunch of questions back to back. Hours of operation, location, what services they offer, and then I was able to answer all of those questions for me in pretty much the order that I asked them in a very natural conversation flow. And I asked about pricing and what their membership consists of, and again, with what I can assume is accurate information, and then gave me the option to book if I wanted to. What you just heard is XBert handling something your staff spends a lot of time on every week, fielding the preliminary questions that happen before someone actually commits. It can consistently provide the information people need, regardless of who's working, what time it is, or how busy things get. That consistency is actually a bigger deal than it sounds. When front desk coverage depends on a person, the quality of that interaction varies. Someone having a rough day gives a different answer than someone who's fully dialed in. XBert removes that variable, and once those repetitive questions are handled automatically, your team gets back the time to focus on work that actually requires their attention. Now it's time for the third and final test. And this is the one I'm most interested in because this is where a lot of AI tools hit a wall. A caller who's ready to book. Answering questions is one thing. Actually completing a transaction, checking live availability, and putting the appointment on the calendar before the call ends is a different ask entirely. I also want to see what happens when a caller decides they want to speak with a human, so we're testing both the booking flow and the handoff.
Hi, I'm Ruth, Bob's Home Services AI Receptionist. How can I help you today?
Hi Ruth, I need a basic service for my home, so I wanted to see how much that is and if I can get it on the calendar.
Basic home services like basic repairs can start as low as $150. Are you interested in booking an appointment?
Yes, I am.
Great. What is the purpose of the appointment and what day and time works for you?
The purpose is a basic drain cleaning and the day and time would be May 27th, probably around 3 p.m.
I have May 27th at 3 p.m. for a basic drain cleaning. Could you please provide your full name?
Sure, my full name is Ahmad Ebrahimi, A-M-A-D. Last name is Ebrahimi, E-B-R-A-H-I-M-I.
Thank you, Ahmad Ibrahimi. Your appointment is booked for May 27th at 3 p.m. for a basic drain cleaning. Would you like a text message with the summary?
Actually, I was wondering if you can hand me off to a live agent, a human.
Would you like to be transferred to a live agent?
Yes, please.
Transferring you now. Please hold.
Okay, so obviously that's a demo. I'm not gonna get a live human on the other side, but the initiation was started and I was able to get an actual booking on the calendar for the date that I asked for the service that I asked for a price that was already pre-quoted to me. So that's XBert doing the thing that actually moves the needle, getting the appointment booked before the caller hangs up, not just answering questions about availability, checking real availability and locking it in for you. That's the difference between something that just talks and something that actually gets results. Now the call transfer piece is important too. XBert doesn't trap callers in a dead end. It hands off with full context at the right time with rules you control. And when it's outside your transfer hours, it captures the information so nothing gets lost. The interaction summary on the back end is one of those features that seems small until you realize what it replaces. Every conversation gets logged and sent to you. Who called, what they asked, what was booked, what's pending. XBert can also trigger an automated follow-up promotional SMS after the interaction ends, so the relationship doesn't stop when the call ends. So we tested 3 scenarios, and here's the honest summary. XBert picked up immediately every time. It didn't sound like a phone tree. It didn't fall apart when the conversation moved in an unexpected direction, and it completed the actual task in each scenario, answered the question, handled the FAQ, and booked the appointment. The whole experience held up. The one thing that stood out was consistency. I got the same tone, quality, and result in each scenario. That's really the core value here. It's not that XBert is flashier than a human receptionist, but that it shows up the same way every single time. But I do have to mention one caveat. These were demo environments. Real world performance depends heavily on how well XBert is configured for your specific business. The demos give you a clear picture of what the experience can look like, but setup is what determines how well that potential actually translates to a real business. And if you don't want to deal with configuring everything yourself, Nextiva can help you get set up. With that said, let's talk about setting up XBert for your business. It's actually much easier than you'd expect. There's no tech background required because the whole process was designed for business owners and not IT teams. The starting point is your existing website URL or Google Maps listing. XBert pulls your business info like hours, services, location as a foundation so you're not building completely from scratch. From there, you'll personalize the receptionist experience. You pick the name, gender, title, and tone of voice, whether it's formal, friendly, casual, to fit how your business actually talks to people. Greetings and disclaimers are customizable separately for voice, text, and chat. And you set business hours so XBert knows when to automatically switch to after hours mode. but the knowledge base is where you put in the actual work. You'll add the questions your team actually fields, along with the services, products, menu items, pricing, and availability details callers typically ask about. You can connect Google Calendar for live appointment scheduling and set up the automated follow-up SMS if you want it. There's also a skill duplication feature, so once you've built out a flow, you can clone it instead of rebuilding from scratch. XBert also supports global search across tickets, contacts, and conversation history, which gives businesses more context as they manage interactions. On the ongoing management side, every interaction lives in a shared inbox, and you can set email summaries to land after each conversation. As your business evolves, the system evolves with it. You can update response types, add scenarios, and expand coverage without starting over. Now, the setup investment is real, and it's worth saying that clearly. This isn't a product that runs at full capacity out of the box without effort. The businesses that configure it well get a system that largely runs itself. Those who don't will have a noticeably different experience. But don't forget, if you need help getting everything configured, Nextiva can help you get set up the right way. So let's get into the final verdict. XBert does what it claims to do. It answers calls instantly, handles a real conversation, and books appointments all from one system across voice, text, and chat. For small businesses with coverage gaps, that's a genuinely useful system to have in place. But the objection I hear most with AI phone tools is, will callers actually accept it? Based on what I heard in these demos, the voice and pacing feel natural enough that it doesn't immediately read as automated. But more importantly, customers would rather speak to something that picks up immediately than hit voicemail and have to decide whether to wait. XBert can also be configured to disclose upfront that it's an AI if that's the right call for your business. And that's a choice you get to make, not a limitation of the product. The one risk worth naming is that XBert is only as good as what you put into it. A thin FAQ library, vague service descriptions, or outdated hours will show, and callers will definitely notice. The businesses that get the most out of this are the ones that treat setup seriously and keep the knowledge base current. For those businesses, the payoff is a frontline communication system that runs with very little day-to-day attention. Most small businesses are dealing with the same problem. More calls than they can reliably handle, and no good solution that doesn't involve a hire they can't justify. XBert isn't trying to replace your team, it's handling the frontline work so your team can stay focused on the things that actually need their attention. If you're tired of being your own receptionist, if your business goes dark after hours, if missed calls are costing you customers, or if you're trying to grow without adding headcount just to keep up with the phones, XBert is worth a serious look. If this sounds like something that would benefit your business, check out the description for more details. And XBert is just one piece of what Nextiva offers. If you want to see the full picture of what Nextiva can do for your business, we have a video on that too. I'll drop the link in the description. Thanks for watching, Mavericks. I'll see you in the next video.